Hello again, everyone. So I've come up to a paragraph that would probably be good for writing on the channel out of this Watership Dam book. I will link to my original video where I talk about my little project with this book and how I'm transcribing it into this A5 notebook. I'll put a link to that down below, but I finally found a section of the book that I would love to write with you all. So I will give you the little bit of setup. So basically, and I won't give the whole story away because, like I said, I really do think anyone who has not read Watership Down should read it. So basically, these rabbits that are all the characters in this story they have left their original warren, and they are essentially looking for a new place to live. And they were running, walking, slash getting from point A to point B all night and a little bit into the next day, and they were trying to find a place to rest. And rabbits don't like to rest out in the open. So one of the rabbits discovered that there was a bean field in this area that they were walking through. He had gone and done a little bit of pre lookout ahead of the rest of the rabbits, and he found this bean field, and he thought, because it's so heavily scented of flowers, that it would be a good place for them to rest for as long as they need to, because they would be covered by the scent of the flowers, and then they would be in the bean field. So on their way to the bean field, they encountered a crow, which the rabbit's name is Hazel, the main rabbit. He realized he came across the crow on his original walk out to see where all the stuff was, and he didn't know that crows were dangerous to rabbits. So he got everyone else, and they were on their way to the bean field, and they encountered the crow again, who was attacking two of the smaller rabbits. So they just realized that the crow was attacking the two smaller rabbits, and now they are trying to save them from the crow. So I'm going to write this next paragraph. I'm not going to be talking through it. I am just going to be writing, and I am going to leave all of this, the page here, in the view, and then I'm going to have the book off to the side here. And I am going to, like I said, just be silent and let the pen scratching on the paper do its thing. And you can read as I write, but it will be slower than normal if I were reading it. Okay, I'm going to start now. All right. Yes, these little rabbits have so many fun adventures. And you'll see up here, I did make a mistake. I read ahead or assumed that a particular word was there when it wasn't, so I just crossed it out and wrote right above it. So I'm going to fill that in a little bit more so that it's just sort of a block of color there. And I realized that I didn't tell you what pen I'm using. So this is the Pelikan Iconic Blue. And it has a steel sort of flexible nib, and it's really nice to write with. If you may have seen in here, I did have a little bit of a trouble with, I don't know if you call it a hard start, but it just, there was sort of the ink just didn't put down at the beginning of a word, and that happened a couple times, and it's happened to me a couple times as I've been writing with it. And I'm not quite sure what that is, but for the most part it writes wonderfully, and that is not a very common occurrence. But I did want to point it out because you probably noticed it as I was writing. So I will go ahead and read this passage now that I've written it, and I'll close the book up. So it says, Hazel covered the distance down the slope in a few seconds. He had no idea what he was going to do, and if the crow had ignored him, he would probably have been at a loss. But by dashing up he distracted its attention, and it turned on him. He swerved past it, stopped, and looking back, saw Bigwig come racing in from the opposite side. The crow turned again, struck at Bigwig, and missed. Hazel heard its beak hit a pebble in the grass with a sound like a snail shell when a thrush beats it on a stone. As Silver followed Bigwig, it recovered itself and faced him squarely. Silver stopped short in fear, and the crow seemed to dance before him, its great black wings flapping in a horrible commotion. It was just about to stab when Bigwig ran straight into it from behind and knocked it sideways, so that it staggered across the turf with a harsh, raucous cawing of rage. All right. So that's it for today. Feel free to like and or subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks so much. Bye.